Hey there, this is Jill Fisk. I'm the Director of Soul Care for Holy Yoga, and just wanted to share with you a little bit about our theme this month, which is the discipline of Sabbath. So here in Holy Yoga, we observe a Sabbath during the month of July, and what that means is that many of our instructors don't teach classes. Our leadership team does not continue to meet. We don't dream up new projects or try to tackle anything new. What we do instead is to stop. Sabbath literally means, we like to think of it as rest, but literally means to cease or to stop. There are so many other spiritual disciplines that are easier to practice, and we are happy to engage in when it comes to prayer and fasting and giving and service. But when it comes to this whole idea of ceasing, I know that it's true of myself that, gosh, we just think we're so much more important than that, and there are things for us to do. In Genesis, after God is finished creating for 6 days, He's the one, like God, the one who does not grow tired, He stops. Part of His plan, for Him to rest, for Him to delight in His creation. By God's design, we were created to cease activity, to enjoy His creation, and to be in relationship with Him. Exodus 20 says this, "For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, but He rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." Eugene Peterson says that Sabbath is not primarily about us or how it benefits us. It's about God and how God forms us. Peterson says, "I don't see any way out of it. If we are going to live appropriately in the creation, we must keep the Sabbath." So what does that mean for us? Sabbath, first of all, it means to stop, to cease from work, from productivity, from accomplishment, from competition, from striving, anxiety, worry, tension, trying to play God, maybe being controlling or possessive, from culture, technology, media, just this idea of coming away. Also means to stop from kind of the fear of being bored, the fear of life being meaningless if there's nothing for you to accomplish. So we enter Sabbath, first of all, by stopping. Secondly, we engage Sabbath by resting. We get to rest spiritually. We get to rest physically, emotionally, intellectually, socially. All of the things that kind of turbocharge us on the other 6 days. What are the things that draw us out of relationship with God, and we get to rest. We can also get to engage Sabbath by delighting. That's a frame of mind. It's a gift of God, not anything that we can draw up on our own. But when we decide to come away, we decide to stop and rest, then all of a sudden, like the Lord meets us in that place, and suddenly we find that rest is good, and we experience joy there, where we get to play with those that we love, or maybe just enjoy a hobby, to have time of holy leisure, to be experiencing the things that we love and delight, things that are glorifying to God. Being able to just receive the care of God upon ourselves instead of having to constantly pour out for others. We get to embrace our intentionality and our callings. Sabbath is a time where we get to kind of hear the voice of God go, here's why I made you. Here's what I made you for. Here's what you can do that nobody else can. But He can't say those things, if we don't come away. We get to delight in this thing called Christian community, in people that we just love being with, whether they go to church with us or they're our next door non-believing neighbors. We just get to be together as people. And it means that we feast. We get to feast on doing nothing together. We get to feast on the beautiful things that He's created around beauty, music, art, food. Anybody a foodie? All of these practices then of Sabbath then help us lead to greater things like freedom. Freedom, slaves were not meant to enjoy. Slaves keep working, but Deuteronomy 5 says, the Lord says, remember what it was like when you were a slave in Egypt. That's why I have commanded you to observe the Sabbath each week. It is for freedom. And the more we engage in this practice of Sabbath, the more we find too the freedom that lies within it. This is, call it non-attachment, call it whatever you want, but Sabbath is appropriate worship of God. Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. In the Jewish tradition, there's this, after Sabbath occurs, and there's the first 3 days that are really kind of being able to reflect upon what just happened. How great was the Sabbath that we just observed? And then the 3 days leading up to Sabbath, that longing, that looking forward to being able to be in Sabbath, to enjoy it, but also the necessary preparations in order to cease activity to be able to enjoy the Sabbath. In Sabbath, we'll find delight. Isaiah 56 says, all who keep Sabbath and don't defile it, God will bring, he says, I'll bring them to my holy mountain and give them joy in my house of prayer. You want to find delight? Practice Sabbath. Just a natural gift that God gives of being able to cease. And then what happens is that we begin to develop a Sabbath spirituality. We begin to see that those Sabbath moments are actually places because we know what it feels like. We've been there. We know the rest for our souls. Then we get to kind of see those little glimpses throughout our day. In Holy Yoga, it's kind of life off the mat, if you will, to be completely integrated. Even when the actual discipline is not occurring, it's almost like being able to see the fruits of our quiet time, or kind of work that out, if you will, in real life, not in the set time. So the very same thing happens when we can appropriately worship God in Sabbath. You'll just find those moments where God calls you away, and you get to take a deep breath and cease and realize that that He is God and you are not. And He's the one who holds the details. He's the one who seeks to be in right relationship with you, and the one who has given us this rhythm of ceasing from time to time, of doing absolutely nothing just to come away with Him. So thanks so much for listening in. I really hope and pray that you guys will check out Sabbath this month. Maybe your Holy Yoga classes are kind of up for a break, so would you check out Holy Yoga TV? You can find it on our website, holyyoga.net. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, or just continue to check us out here on YouTube. So pray that your Sabbath will be blessed and holy and set apart, and it just fires up the rest of your days with the Lord.